Hi, it's James here from Totally Wild UK, and today we're going to be looking at mushroom spore flowcharts. It sounds a bit weird, but this is the thing that people do when you go out with foragers and they pick up a mushroom and they turn it around in their hands, rip it in half, give it a smell, stuff like that. These are the things that they're doing, whether they're doing it consciously or unconsciously. What we're going to look at is the cogs of how they identify, and we've called it a mushroom spore flowchart. So we're going to go through our spore flowchart, and we're using this one today for looking for honey fungus or the Armillaria. Can't remember the exact name of the word, the Latin for it. That family of mushrooms, the honey fungus family of mushrooms. So we start off by looking at the features, the general look of it. So we're going to say that it's got a cap, a stem, and what look like gills on the underside. Although it might be grown out of wood, it's still got those features. So we turn the mushroom upside down to start with to ask this question: does it have true gills or gill-like ridges? Gill-like ridges would look like the folds of a raisin, and then true gills would look like the edges of a piece of paper of a book like this. It can be any colour, and for this one we're going to say it's got true gills. So we go to the next question. So we're down here, and it's asking us to do a spore print. So for a spore print, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the stem off the mushroom like this, and we're going to pop the mushroom down on two pieces of paper, one on black or dark coloured paper and one on light coloured paper. And we'll leave it for 24 hours. We can put like a cloche over it or a bowl or something like that to stop it from drying out. And it will have dropped its spore print by that. It can be much quicker, but 24 hours is a good rough guide. And for this one, we're going to see that it'll show a white spore print on this black piece of paper. So that's going to tell us that it's got white to cream spores, and this guide is now telling us to go to page 22, so the next page. So we're going to start in the blue box as always, and we're going to start asking questions and answering yes or no, and we're going to eventually work our way down. So does it have a central stem? Is the stem growing out of the centre of the cap? Or close enough? So we say yes. Next question, does it have intermediate gills? So here you can see a picture of a mushroom with intermediate gills. Some gills will run from the stem all the way to the side of the cap, and then an intermediate gill will run from halfway up the cap to the side of the cap. So we're going to say yes, it has intermediate gills. Next question, is milk produced when it's damaged? So if we break it in the cap a little bit, is there any white, orange or red milk that runs out of it? We're going to say no. And then we're saying, is there a vulva or a sac at the base of the mushroom? So if we go down to the very base of the mushroom, is it growing out of a sac or has it grown out of a vulva? So for this one we say no. Then we go, is there a veil on the stem, a skirt or a ring? And for this one we say yes, there is. Quite often there will have been a veil covering the gills on the underside, and it does it to protect the gills before they're ready to produce spores. And when they're ready to produce spores, that veil drops away, so the gills are open to produce the spores or their seeds, and it sits on the stem. Sometimes it will break off the stem, but often you'll find some still sat on the stem. So we say yes. Next question, is it grown on wood with slightly decurrent gills? So it's grown out of a piece of wood, or it could be grown out of a piece of wood that's fallen on the ground and might look like grass, or it's grown out of roots that go under the ground. And then it's asking, does it also have slightly decurrent gills? So decurrent gills are gills that run, if you were to slice the mushroom in half, you'd see that the gills run from the edge of the cap down the stem. And slightly decurrent means it'll do that, not massively, but they'll do it a little bit. And then we're going to say yes to that. So it's grown out of wood, it has slightly decurrent gills, and we've got down to the Armillaria. That's what I got wrong earlier. Armillaria, the honey fungus type mushrooms. Some good edibles. Some people might have a slightly dicky tummy from eating them, so it's worth starting with a few. And when you find out that you're one that can eat them, fantastic, go crazy. What's really important here is that we've done a spore print at the start, which is told us it's got white to cream spores, because the lookalike is the shaggy scaly cap, which has brown spores, I believe. Well, it doesn't have white spores, regardless. Then we've also got be wary of the funeral bell in here as well. So that's it, we're down to the honey fungus. Thinking maybe a bit longer, maybe 8 or 9 steps for that.